And away we go. It is the Nightcap, brought to you by Galactic Fried Chicken right here on BearcatJournal.com, www.galacticfriedchicken.com. Download the app. The app will allow you to order straight to your front door pretty much anywhere inside the 275 loop, or make it down to Dayton, Kentucky, Wednesday through Sunday. Tell them to pump it up. Save yourself 15% off of your order. Get some chicken tenders, get some fried chicken. Man, I think tomorrow might be a Galactic night. We haven't done it
much.
If not tomorrow, I think for sure Friday. One of the two. I'm gonna have to get some Galactic. It's been a while. I've been in this this groove of UC coverage that has kept me from heading down to Dayton, Kentucky between UC and volleyball. So I think it's time. Anyhow, let's get this ball rolling. It is Wednesday. Wednesday night means we take a look at the conference slate for week 3. And woof. I guess we start, Aaron, with is this something now that we should expect given the 9-game conference slate? So teams will either generally start week 1 with FCS and then play a Power 5, or they will start their season with a Power 5, and then that's their Power 5 opponent for their non-conference before they get into Big 12 play. So week 3 kind of becomes cupcake week. Cupcake week, yeah. There's not a ton. There's a few interesting morsels when you start getting into gambling lines and Vegas's view of a couple of these games.
Vegas is higher on this week than we are. I'll say that.
Absolutely true. Absolutely true. Because when you look at it just game by game, you don't feel great. But then you start looking at the lines and you're like, So let's deep dive, shall we?
Sure.
Maybe the game of the week in the conference. Kansas
arguably.
State. Yeah, maybe inarguably. I don't know that you're going to find a better game. You get Missouri from the SEC. They're 2-0. They take on Kansas State. I think our general consensus here, from what we've seen, is that Kansas State might be the second best team in the league behind Texas. Missouri has won 35-10. This is what's crazy to me. Missouri has won at home 35-10 over South Dakota and 23-19 over Middle Tennessee State. And the line is Kansas State 3.5. The over-under is 48. I might drive to Ohio to bet this game and put whatever is in my Betfred account on Kansas State.
If I'm Will Howard, I'm feeling completely disrespected.
Yeah.
You've done everything that you need to do pretty much in the 2 games that you've played. And I don't understand what Missouri has done to garner 3.5 points outside of the fact that it's the Big Ten.
No, the SEC.
SEC, yeah. No, then
SEC,
SEC, yeah. I was thinking Nebraska.
Who knows who the hell is where?
It's fine. But even still, I mean, so you're SEC, and you're getting SEC love. That's the only thing that I can figure at that point. It's on the SEC network. I should have known as I'm literally looking at that.
I mean, on the flip side, Aaron, Kansas State drilled Southeast Missouri 45-0. And then a good Troy team who hung around for a little bit, they pulled away 42-13. I
don't know what Missouri's done. Middle Tennessee State, I understand that Middle Tennessee State, sure, they beat Miami, Florida last year. That has nothing to do with this year.
At Missouri, 23-19. I don't know. I'm going heavy Kansas State here.
I would agree.
Which makes me nervous because when I think that, I'm usually dead fucking wrong.
Well, ESPN FPI also agrees with you at almost 60%. So
Baylor plays
sorry,
Long
almost
Island
70%.
University. Who? What?
Baylor might finally get a win.
Maybe. I don't know. There's no line because it's an FCS game. Long Island University is 0-2. They lost 27-10 to Ohio and 21-10 at Bryant.
Baylor might finally get a win.
Yeah. Another interesting game, especially based on the gambling line. Iowa State is in Athens, Ohio.
Right in my backyard.
In your backyard. Are you skipping the Bearcats game to go to this one?
I wouldn't have to. The game kicks off at noon.
You could potentially go to that game, maybe head out early fourth quarter.
But I'm not. Because I don't care.
The line is Iowa State by 3. The over-under is 42.5.
Yeah, I can imagine the atmosphere at Ohio University's stadium is going to be mayhem at a noon kickoff in the thriving town of Athens.
Well, I will give them this. They're getting a Power 5 opponent on their home turf. That doesn't happen often.
Sure.
And it's a 3-point spread. Like, maybe I could see the people of Athens rallying around getting to this game.
The stadium holds 24,000. I'm not sure if there's 24,000 in the county.
Yeah.
In all of Athens County, I'm not sure if there's 24,000.
But I mean, there's people around Columbus area, Cincinnati area that are probably going to go to this game. I'm taking Iowa State, but that line is fascinating to me. That's another. What does Vegas know that we don't?
If Ohio wins this game, is Campbell fired?
No, because he's got so much goodwill. You have
it depends on the score, right? It depends on the score. No, if Ohio dog walks Iowa State like 42-7.
Here's the thing that you have to understand with Iowa State. They were a perennial 2-3 win team for pretty much the entire history of their program before Matt Campbell. Yes, Matt Campbell is maybe plateaued at Iowa State, but if their ceiling is still 7-8 wins, like that is so far historically above what Iowa State has become that I don't know. Maybe it prompts him to start looking for something else finally, feeling that like we've hit, like we're not going to get over, we're not going to be a team that wins 10, 11 games ever here.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm going to go with Iowa State, but like Ohio clearly has a chance in this game. Like that'll be one at noon that we'll be talking about, like as we get to the tailgate at like 3:30, 4 o'clock for sure. Oklahoma, Tulsa. Oklahoma, a 27.5-point favorite. This is at Tulsa.
Oklahoma's taking the American tour, right? Like,
yeah,
they're coming off of a win hosting SMU. Now they travel to Tulsa. They were just like, we're going to pick on the American this year.
Look, offensively, they did not look great against SMU.
I'd agree.
It was 14-11 in the fourth quarter. I would like Oklahoma's going to win this game. I would be very tempted to take Tulsa in the points.
27.5. It's tempting, sure, but I don't know that Tulsa has. I mean, they've put up a grand total. Well, they beat Arkansas Pine Bluff 42-7. They lost to Washington 43-10. If they lose again,
really good. Really,
if they lose again the way they lost to Washington, but
Washington's offense is outstanding. Like Michael Penix is a legit Heisman candidate.
Sure.
And that game was 33. I don't gamble. I'm just giving my on-air reactions, and somebody's probably going to tally these up and prove to you why I don't gamble as we go through this season. But I would take Tulsa in 27.5. I think they could keep that to 20, 25.
We'll see.
Somewhere in that range.
Or Oklahoma also has a game where they scored 73. So
it was against Butch Jones. They let go of the rope.
They made him cry.
UCF Villanova. No John Rice Plumlee for a couple weeks, but UCF is not going to struggle with Villanova in the Erector set.
No.
Cincinnati, Miami. I only mentioned this because the line is only 14. The over/under is only 45. Take Cincinnati and give the points and bet the over. At 45, Miami's defense is not good. Like, not good. And this offense from Cincinnati, except for the fourth quarter against Pitt, for 7 of 8 quarters, this offense has been competent.
Put a safety over the top, put another guy underneath, and stop that receiver, and you'll be fine.
Here might be the most head-scratching line of the week. South Alabama, who is 1-1. They lost 37-17 at Tulane. They beat Southeast Louisiana at home 36-17.
35.
Or 35, whatever. This is a 7-point line in favor of Oklahoma State. The over-under is 48.5. I get that Oklahoma State has been a little schizophrenic to start the season. That's a 7-point line? Huh?
Oklahoma State has not scored more than 27 points in a game yet this season.
Yeah, they've also experimented with 3 different quarterbacks. I don't know.
They have done that. I will not take that away from you. But I mean, you only beat Central Arkansas 27-13. You only beat Arizona State 27-15. Clearly, your defense can do something, but I don't know how many points did you want them to give?
10? 11? I don't know, double digits, I guess, at least I would expect. Although when you look at the ESPN thing, the breakdown, South Alabama has had more production from their quarterback, running back, and number 1 wide receiver.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess that's something to at least keep an eye on. Texas Tech plays Tarleton State. I know Billy Clyde Gillespie used to coach the basketball team there. I don't know if he coaches the football team. That would be a lot for a raging alcoholic.
Texas Tech might finally get a win. They're in the same boat as Baylor, both of them trying to get out of the basement of the Big 12.
Yeah. An interesting game. I think we'll learn a lot about BYU here. They go to Arkansas. Arkansas favored by 8.5. The over/under is 47.5.
KJ Jefferson still in Arkansas.
Another one where BYU has the leading passer in the game, Keaton Slovis. They have the leading rusher and the leading pass catcher of the two teams combined.
Yeah.
Obviously, opponents are different, but I mean, Arkansas has played Western Carolina and Kent State, and they don't have anybody with a better statistical line than BYU. I don't know. The closest spread, and obviously the biggest profile game of the weekend, happens in Morgantown. This one's interesting to me.
I agree.
The Backyard Brawl, West Virginia, who everybody believes is going to fire their coach sometime before Halloween, is a 1.5-point favorite over Pitt. Vegas has drastically course corrected on Pitt after making them What did it end up at? 6.5 last week.
I believe so. I think
It
it's
got
fair
up as high
calculation.
as 8.5. I saw like during the week. It corrected a little bit down to 6.5 by kickoff. West Virginia, the 1.5 point favorite in the backyard brawl. You want to look? I know we're supposed to do the conference thing here. Go Big 12. You want to see Pitt look good and win that game, right?
If you want Cincinnati's record to look better, absolutely. Pitt winning is only going to help Cincinnati's strength of schedule and
as Dave mentioned
rankings.
tonight on the BCJ pod, Pitt's got Louisville, North Carolina, Clemson, Notre Dame. Like, there's a lot left, a lot of meat left on Pitt's schedule. That
Florida State.
Florida State. Do they play Notre Dame? Was I wrong on that?
They play North Carolina, they play VTech, they play Louisville, they play Wake Forest, Notre Dame, Florida State, Syracuse, Boston College, and Duke. Duke, Notre Dame, Florida State, North Carolina, all being ranked. Plenty of meat on the bone.
They need to beat West Virginia. They need to beat West Virginia. If West Virginia wins that game, Cincinnati's not going to get a whole lot of love for beating Pitt.
Nope.
So, each hit Pitt, but whatever. Texas, Wyoming. Wyoming does have a Big 12 win at home over Texas Tech.
They do.
But they're going to get dog walked by Texas.
They are.
29.5 is the spread. Over under 48.5. I wouldn't touch the spread. I think Wyoming's decent.
Quinn Ewers is going to go off. They're not playing. They're not playing at Wyoming.
I know. I'm just saying I wouldn't touch. Like, maybe you're up 35 and they score a touchdown late, like backdoor cover. I would go 48.5 over. I think
Texas
there's going to be a bunch of points in that game. Texas is clearly back. So back. The first Big 12 conference game, not a Big 12 preview game, as we've had a couple of Big 12, Pac-12,
right?
Soon to be Big 12 conference games. But we get TCU at Houston. TCU favored by 7.5. Over under big here, 64.5. I'm taking TCU and I'm taking the under. I'm not. I don't
believe in TCU.
30s here.
TCU is not who they were last year. Let's be
no.
Let's be real.
Houston is.
Houston's terrible.
Dude, TCU is going to win this game. I think they're going to cover. I'm not. The over under is almost 70 in this game.
No shot.
Unless I'm not putting my money on that.
No, obviously Shedeur Sanders tore up TCU, but I don't think Houston has a Shedeur Sanders.
No. They have Dana Holgerson, and he's going to get.
They have Red Bull and vodka.
He's going to get drunk after this game. We should, like somebody mentioned in the BCJ pod, like Turtles Brew sounds like something Dana.
I know. I agree.
Yeah, you pour the first 7 ounces off the top, you replace that with bourbon, and then you shake it up and you get going.
I'm convinced he drinks out of a Yeti and just fills the bottom portion that fits in the cup holder with whatever bourbon. With vodka, whatever it is.
And then Turtles Brew on top, which is also 6% ABV. So
get after it, Dana.
It's like one of the drunkest I've ever seen, Kelly, is my cousin introduced her to White Claws with vodka in them.
That's a dangerous game.
And she had never done it before. We were on vacation in Hocking Hills, and she almost stumbled down a hill into the fire. I had to like Ivan Pace tackle her from catching herself on fire. Don't drink responsibly, kids. Kansas, Nevada.
Late night Big 12.
Yeah, 10:30 kickoff on CBS Sports Network. Kansas favored by 28. I'll lay the points there. Kansas is going to beat the brakes off of Nevada.
Yeah, Jalen Daniels is really good.
I don't know that I would touch the over under 58 because Kansas might have to hit that like themselves.
Nevada's quarterback has not thrown a touchdown yet.
Right. What I'm saying is, if the over-under is going to hit, it might have to be 56-3 Kansas. That's not something I feel comfortable gambling on.
I'm not saying.
Maybe.
But I'm just saying.
Maybe. They might do it. They might. All right. There you go. That's this week, week 3, your preview look at the Big 12. We'll see you next time. Thanks to Galactic Fried Chicken. This is the Nightcap right here on BearcatJournal.com.
See ya!